Yeah, this is my second take. The other take, I wasn't. The audio was muted. So anyway, I'm going live. It's not necessarily no particular topics. It's just things that I have off, basically on my mind or whatever, however the conversation leads. Basically, I was talking about before about how there's two types of men. Okay, and there's men that have gotten women and they were able to kind of get women when they were younger, like high school, even junior high. And then there's men that they weren't able to. And a- I knew there was some men like this in high school and stuff like that. I knew that, but it wasn't that many. I don't think it was that many. Like the internet is like has like kind of exacerbated that. And then I guess the younger generation, they getting it's getting worse with them because they even more isolated, and it's more single parent households. It's like whole flocks of women that basically it a lot of women, what they do, a lot of single moms, what they do, this is in case you didn't know this, right? What they do is they get with like large flocks of other women that are also single moms. They don't intertwine with married folk, like women that are married. Maybe some of them have friends that are married. They might go to birthday parties and certain events and stuff like that. But what a lot of times what women do that are single moms, because the married people kind of like are, it's like they're elite kind of in a sense. So the other single women, single mothers, they stay away from those women for the most part. They don't all commune with them like that. So they'll just have these little flocks where they all have these like cliques that he's like they're basically single mom cliques. And the little boys or girls, they don't have any men around because they got all of these single moms. And it's like, yeah, a lot of this is not talked about because people don't probably get that far in depth into the conversation. But yeah, this is what happens. Like they have these little cliques where they all are single moms. Everybody, in order to stay in the clique, you got to be a single mom. And it's like, they stay away from married couples because it's like they feel out of place a lot of times. And maybe even women that are married, they probably don't really deal with single mothers like that because they kind of think that maybe they might take their man or their husband might want to cheat on them with a single mom or whatever. So it's a lot of that stuff goes on. But the thing is that that puts the boys in a situation where they're being more socially awkward when they get older, and more social issues because they don't have that male interaction, that male spirit around them, at a early age. And then they get older, and then they have resentment towards men, very similar to the women, and it just creates this like cycle of things to come. And the thing is that you know a lot of guys that are socially awkward, it's a lot of times, you have these guys that are just like cream puffs, fat cream puffs, and they don't want to work out, they don't want to self improve. And then they just kind of hang with other guys online, offline or whatever, and that are just, it's like they form this cream puff gang. And then they gravitate towards men that are influencers that just kind of give them a, they all just have like this huggy bear community where everybody hugs each other. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you kind of can see like why these guys are the way they are, because it's like, they just, it's kind of like, the women that go towards other women or other men that just kind of, tell them it's gonna be okay. It's not your problem, girl. It's really, other, the men, it's them, it's not you. You doing your best, girl. Like, and it's like, this self-absorption of, mediocrity and below below average effort, in order to, in the motives is obviously, the incentive is these guys obviously want to, kind of get these men's money, get these men's support. So they basically just, just take it easy on these guys because, it's like an incentive for them to do so. And I see that too. I see these guys that basically, you know, have these, Huggy Bear cream puffs dudes to basically just kind of, just kind of take it easy on them because they don't want to lose them. And it's like, yeah, I just sit back and I just, eat my popcorn. I eat my popcorn, and I just basically just be like, uh-huh, yep. That's why you running around in circles like a dog chasing your tail, trying to find the next Huggy Bear community that's gonna support you. you know and it's like, yeah, I mean, one of the things about guys that, basically, do have more of a uh better outcome when it comes to getting women and, whatnot, is that they do have it is a difference, as far as a lot of the guys that are even cream puffs and whatnot, because they do have more time on their hands to, focus and kind of focus on work, and work, make money, and kind of, they're not probably spending no money so they can save more, because they don't have women as a focus, because the women ain't necessarily trying to, reach out to them, other than to, basically use them as a simp. So they do have, a better financial standing. I mean, they might not look good because they got a lot of weight, they got a lot of curves and stuff like that. So they just, just kind of just out there, and these men tend to have better outcomes when it comes financially. But a lot of the dudes that have been with women and haven't had problems with women, they have a lot of, baggage and a lot of financial issues when it comes to women, because they've probably wasted quite a bit of money on women and wasted a lot of time, um and might even have children that they have to deal with certain women and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it is a thing that I've noticed. I've noticed that, a lot of these guys that do get with women, and even these, dating coaches and stuff, they don't necessarily have, any like strong financial outcomes, like, or their finances pretty much suck, and they don't really want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about how financially broke they actually are. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's the conundrum. It's like the tale of two coins. The guy that he ain't really hitting on nothing with women, but he got a lot of time on his hands to really focus on his hobbies, to focus on, learning new skills and stuff like that. And but he has problems with relationships. So it's like a gift and a curse. It's like, what's the happy medium? The happy medium is, basically kind of, I guess, doing a combination of both, you know, do focusing on women and focusing on your career, focusing on your skill sets, focusing on your hobbies. I mean, it's possible to do so. I mean, a lot of guys do that in that regard, but it's like, you do have the tail of the extreme where it's dudes that, they just way off the they like, you know, off the deep end with it. They're broke as hell, but I mean, they in some BDSM stuff. They, dealing with hood rats every day, barely able to have a couch to sleep on. They on like some hobosexual shit, but they all deep into the pussy, you know, and it's like it's like, well, you know, it's obviously a happy medium is the best way to go, and definitely not to be that extreme of a hedonist that you're so focused on sex as a man that you're just putting everything into it. You're all in, like you just, imagine a guy at the poker table. He's got, $100,000 worth of chips or $1 million worth of chips, and he just in order to win the pot, which is in order to win, he's, he's trying to win because, it's an opportunity for some, I guess unlimited pussy. I don't know, unlimited pussy pass. He puts all his chips forward the table and goes all in. And that's, a lot of guys' concept, and it's natural. I understand it. That's nature. It's like my cat. He's, pretty much he ain't fixed to nothing. He wants to go outside. He's horny and he wants to go outside. Like he doesn't care if it's cold. He doesn't care if he damn near lost his paw from frostbite. He's trying to go out there, you know, to chase some pussy. Literally, and that's where the word pussy came from. Pussycats. That's what the term pussy came from. In case you didn't know, like a female cat is called a pussycat. Um, the whole puss in boots and all of that type of stuff. But the thing is yeah, like that's how men are wired. Like we're wired to just risk it all for for to pursuit to mate. You know, that's just how we're wired. A lot of times, that women don't probably understand that like that. Maybe they do because women have, during their peak as far as when they are during ovulation, a lot of women complain about how horny they are during that period of time. But men, we don't have that type of cycle like that. Men tend to be horny. If you're healthy, you're horny every fucking day, you know um it's a degree of men. I mean, because some men, once they get older, they haven't been really taking care of themselves. They might have clogged arteries, they might have high blood pressure, they might have some other of diseases or things that they're dealing with, and it takes away from their testosterone levels. It has them in a situation where they have either ED or some type of dysfunction when it comes to sex. And it's like, yeah, that happens a lot of times when guys get like 35 plus or 30 plus. And one of the trends is it's getting younger and younger. It's like young guys in their 20s talking about they taking Red Bull and Viagra and shit like that. So it is a big deal. It's something that is like kind of a cause for concern, I would even say, for the most part. But guys do have that hardwired drive that they really pretty much, it takes a hard time for them to control that. And that's why a lot of guys do crash out, because they don't necessarily know how to control all of that. And then you have the guys that do learn it over time, because it does take some time to learn. Like a lot of times when you're young in your 20s and stuff like that, it takes you some time to learn. Like some guys learn later than others. I mean, some guys, you don't know, you could kind of tell maybe they were, I don't know, maybe their parents kind of kept them in check when they was in high school or whatnot, and they had to kind of sneak and do stuff. And then when they get older, they go crazy and start getting with chicks that's porn stars and stuff. And I'm just talking about like the athletes and stuff, like the young athletes now, like, and then they getting like turned out and getting them knocked up because they just like game goofy, because they didn't know, they weren't doing nothing. You could tell they weren't doing nothing other than when they was in college, and basically barely getting any in probably high school. And these guys was pretty much stars, superstars, you could even say. And it's like, yeah, I mean, when I was coming up, it wasn't, that wasn't quite common. It was people actually, this is what I heard, right? As far as the whole sexual experience, right? From like, let's just say from the 90s and the 2000s to now, let's just say the Gen Xers, um and the boomers versus like the millennials and the Gen Zers. You know, the people that are, I think they said like the younger people are having like more actual sex, like sex as far as um they're having like long term like sexual experiences, more of that. But like the people in the 90s and the 2000s, the millennials, I mean the Gen Xers and the boomers, they was having more sex with different people, right? Different partners or whatever you want to call different women. In the case of me, like I ain't talking about no other shit. But the thing is that um the actual millennials and Z's, they're having like these long-term relationships, and it's kind of like maybe they're staying with one, particular um I would say partner or whatever, sexual partner or whatever, for a longer period of time than basically the boomers and the Gen Xers, because the boomers and the Gen Xers was like coming up, and it's kind of like casual sex type of era, the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the younger people are hooking up, but they like hooking up long term. I mean, I might have it backwards, but that's what I heard as far as things is concerned. But um, the thing is that you had a different time. See, a lot of times, people don't understand how this stuff works when it comes to, the whole just dichotomy of just how society is, how rough society is, and how rough the economy is, has everything to do with how the risks people are willing to take when it comes to sex and relationships and all that type of stuff. And it's like, yeah, it was a different time in the 90s and the 2000s. And I've said this from time and time again, like it wasn't no job problems. It wasn't necessarily no housing problems in the 90s and the 2000s. In the 2000s, it was, good, but it turned out to be bad because people were getting these loans, because it was really easy to get loans back in the early 2000s. You could get unstated income loans. People were getting so many home loans that it was like people were getting other people to sign documents that had, halfway decent credit, so they can buy a house, and then the house would, basically they'll get the money from the house or whatever, and then it will go into foreclosure. It would be some type of scheme or something like that. A lot of people got caught. It was people that have gotten caught for mortgage fraud. Just like they catching up people with the PPP, they were, people were doing certain things because it was easy to get home loans back in the, 2000s, right? You had the ability to go unstated, where you didn't even have to state your income. If you had a business, you could do an unstated a home loan back in the day, in 2000s, and then you basically, they don't even have to check your income, and you could get the house, you get a mortgage. And it was just really like, it was like a big mess. Okay. And then they came up with the Dodd-Frank Act, where you had to have a minimum credit score and you had to have these requirements, because people were getting all of these home loans and getting all these houses that they couldn't afford. I remember this one chick that, she was like living in this like big ass house, and she had a barber shop slash beauty shop, and she's probably doing some other stuff, but she was able to probably pay her mortgage for a while. But basically, whatever happened with her business or whatever was going on, yeah, she couldn't pay that, she couldn't keep paying that high ass mortgage that she had. And it's like just no different than somebody going to go finance a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or something, or whatever, a Lamborghini. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you can go out and get a Lamborghini right now. You're gonna have to probably put about $25,000 down, and depending on your interest rate and all of that, your payment's gonna be probably like $2,000 a month for a Lambo. And it's people that do that. Like they into cars and they finance cars just like people finance a Chevy Impala. And it's like, I'm not really into that. Not into that at all, actually. I hate car loans. But the thing is that, yeah, people were doing that with houses. They were getting these big ass deluxe luxury houses, big old houses, and because it was easier to get. The whole point was, it was easier to get back in those times. It was, money was kind of flowing a lot easier, and then it crashed out, 2007, 2008, 2009, right? Then it just created this big ass log jam, this quagmire of events, that it was just like one event led to another event, to another event, to, it's like, these massive layoffs. And then a lot of people were, basically, to add insult to injury, it was losing their house and losing their job, losing their cars. Everything was getting lost because, people were getting laid off. The economy was in a desperate state of needing some type of reset, and that, that's what happened. But the thing is that, yeah, all of that before 2007, before, 2008, it was a lot of money flowing. And when the money flows, people take more and more risks. They have, more, it's more people going out on dates, it's more people having sex. It's, just a different, whole different experience. The music was different, people were, it was more love songs, right? Then, you got now people damn near just is like, yeah, let's just fuck, because that's what the love songs are now. Let's just freak, you know. I'm a um, just basically, let's just go right to the bed. Not saying they didn't have that in the 90s and the 2000s, but it's like, basically, it ain't hardly no love songs. That's the, and then you hear dudes talking about, ain't nothing, it ain't nothing to talk about. No, ain't no love to talk about, because the women ain't worthy of love, or, they talking about they want money, and all of this type of stuff, because all of this shit got to do with basically the economy being fucked up and people really, really need money. really, really bad, because it's really, messed up. It's a lot of opportunities, but it's also a lot of gatekeeping. It's also a lot of, you know, people playing games, employers playing games, not trying to hire people, and also not trying to pay people as well, any type of competitive salary. So you got a lot of this stuff going on, and it basically, in a nutshell, it puts women in a situation where they want to close their pussy. They not trying to give up their pussy when it's times of fucking economic instability, wars going on, um, layoffs, people, living in their cars and living in their freaking, grandma's basement, all this type of shit. They don't really feel confident in order to take risks like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just imagine some type of, free hippie bohemian, type of world where it's plenty of money, is plenty of housing, is plenty of a lot of things. Well, that type of reality, if that's not going on, then women are not going to be accepting of taking risks like that. They're just not going to do it. And then that's where, I guess, what, men are, what I'm saying, looking around holding their dick like, what the fuck, and it's like, yeah, they don't understand that a lot of this shit is due to just kind of the elites, playing their game, and you're not competing with them, because how can you compete with them? You haven't, you trying to be on some independent stuff, or you got small little groups and organizations, and y'all do whatever y'all can, but you're not competing, with the top 20, top 50 on the Forbes list, what they're doing. You're not invited to the meetings, and you don't know what they're doing, and you don't know what they got going on. But it's not something that is good, because if it whatever they got was going on was good, it would, show in the economy, it would show in the labor market, so on and so forth. And that's why I'm the only one hardly talking about, how unequitable the wealth distribution is in this country, where it was been, it was a call, it's a cause of alarm. And the thing is, what can you do about it, right? And you could be aware of it, and then you can try to, maybe curb your spending, curb your, wants and needs or luxuries, into a sense where, basically you're, trying to make sure you're financially better off, you know, before you start buying all of these things, and versing your, and not going into debt to get these things, um, that's a start, right? And it's like, yeah, I mean, these things are valid points as far as why people are scared to have babies. They're scared shitless because they don't want to fucking be broke. They don't want to be, a lot of people don't want to be living in no car and trying to, go live with their parents because they don't make enough to, have a baby. So a lot of these people are, just dog moms, dog dads, and all of this type of stuff. And I mean, the elites is like scratching their head because they like, okay, well, they feel like, they gotta control the policy and all of that, and make an incentive for the country to have some type of growth. So they bring in immigrants, you know, and as a solution to deal with all of that, because the immigrants don't give a fuck about no having no baby. They gonna work hard and come home and bust that nut, you know. And they ain't worried, they ain't worried about no dogs and all that type of shit. They, having a family with at least 4 or 5 children. That's just how they're wired. An American, typical American, is not wired that way. They're wired of, babies are a burden. They, got to have a budget and all that. And it's like, yeah, I get it. I understand all of that. A lot of times, to be honest, a lot of it is it's just it's kind of being it's kind of being it's a combination of just really being just keeping up with the Joneses, kind of um a lot of people that they want to be rich. A lot of people are scared, like people are trying to be rich. A lot of people, they, in order to please their college mates and classmates, they're trying their hardest to, kind of fit in with the Joneses type of thing. And that whole mentality of keeping up with the Joneses and keeping up with the other, guys that, are educated and have the money and they have the cars and the houses and stuff like that. They don't they don't want to take a risk of having a baby and then being, what I'm saying, just in a bad state, and then being embarrassed by that. And I get that, and I understand that. But you got to understand that's emotions and ego. You're having a battle. You having a you having basically a unrealistic battle with your id and your ego. That's what that actually is. Because don't nobody really care about you like you think they care about you. That's one. And who cares if anybody cares about you? Like, I mean, it's like people don't want to appear like they broke, but they are broke. Like, it's like, who cares what people think about you? Like you the people's motivations off of what people care about them or not is way out. It is out of this world as far as the people's concern about how people care about them and all of this type of shit. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of what I see as far as what people's motivations, people trying to be rich, they trying to like follow rich people as far as their daily lives and their actual reality. And it's like, and I'm side eyeing myself in a way. I'm like, I'm just kind of like, chirping, kind of smirching my lips and like, looking like, you ain't gonna like trying to act like you're rich or wealthy is not necessarily going to make you rich and wealthy. It'll make you a good actor or actress, but it ain't gonna make you rich and wealthy. The reality is, it's a certain sacrifice that, a lot of people do make when it comes to having children, and they're okay with it. A lot of people do have children. I mean, it's not like, I mean, I will say it's more people that are not having children or delaying children. And a lot of those people, one of the things that you find with these types of people, both men and women, these people really are concerned about what people think about them. These are those people. Like, it is hands down, those types of individuals are really, really concerned about what people think about them. And they're so concerned about what people think about them and all of these religious dogmas that they're supposed to follow and all of this goofy shit, that they literally go a lot of times their whole life without actually having children because the combination of those things and others. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's I mean, that's, it is what it is, man. A lot of times these people, man, cross my path and all of this type of shit. And then, it's like going to, you watching people in Weirdoville, being weird. And it's like, damn, dude, you know, it's kind of hard to reach people, like I said, that are arrogant You could probably deal with a person's ego, but arrogance, you can't really reach someone as arrogant because a person is arrogant, they're not necessarily going to listen to you because they think that they're better than you. That's why they're arrogant. So in a in a climb of them thinking that they're better than you, their arrogance, you cannot reach them because they're having a secret battle with you, and you being someone that supposed to be a big bro or supposed to be someone that is giving some type of solid advice. They're battling with those individuals because in their mind they're better. They're up here and you're down there giving advice. They're looking down at you, and you're giving advice, and you're trying to look up at them and talk to them. They feel as though they're way up above you. And you see the reality is they're not above you, they're struggling. They're literally fighting for their life. And you like, damn, hey, you way up here, why don't you come down here and then be reachable and coachable and actually take life serious? Because see, a lot of it is just taking life serious. Like, to be honest, that's why I love chess. you know I love the fuck out of chess because if you're not realistic, you're gonna lose. It's just point blank period. If you're delusional playing chess, you're going to most likely lose, because if you don't look at the chessboard just exactly how it is, if you don't look at the pieces that you have, whether you look at, do you have a actual strength or you actually have a weak position, if you don't look at things exactly according to how they are, you're going to probably most likely lose the game because you're not seeing the dynamic of strength and weakness and strategy, and actually trying to implement strategies and you know be defensive as well as offensive. You're not looking at those things. You're just living life being delusional, and you're just playing chess being delusional in that sense. And then just in life, just in chess, you lose the game. And it's like, yeah, like that's why I like chess, because it's like, if you really like, if you're on the other side of that where you're playing someone is delusional, you're going to win. You're going to beat them because they're delusional. And you're going to be, you being realistic, you being in the real world, in reality, you see things exactly how they are, whether you like them good or bad, and you exploit whatever you can to win the game. And it's that's a lot of the times why guys that are younger, they hate older people and they want them to die, because a lot of times, like look at it like this: young guy, he's a streamer, or he's entertainer or whatever. He's a millionaire. He got about $1 or $2 million. He's 19, he's 22 or whatever. He's about, let's just give him the range of 18 to 22. He's trying to have the most fun he's possibly having in his life. He's trying to have his priorities is fun, smoking, drinking, women, experiences, food, and all this other stuff. And it's like, a older guy, like a Gen X or a Boomer, he did that in the '80s and the '90s. He's already done that. He's already had these lushful experiences, and he's know how that goes. He knows, okay, those fun guys that you hanging around, they gonna probably snake you. They gonna break up, as far as the friendship, or y'all gonna break up. Y'all gonna see eye to eye. Y'all won't see eye to eye. Those chicks, pretty much, you gonna have fun with them. You might have some fun babies, and then the fun is gonna turn into, um, basically, pain. Because you got to deal with life, And it's like we've already been through that song and dance. And it's a lot of times when guys get older, we know what older guys count. We count houses and buildings. That's how, like, 35 plus men are into fucking real estate. We're counting houses and buildings. While you trying to have fun with your little $2 million, $1 million, and then you spend it all, and then you probably 28, 30 years old, and then you on some broke shit, or 25 or whatever, on some broke shit because you blew through some money. You was on top and then you go down. Or maybe you even ain't, you got people, a lot of people ain't never even been to the top. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the priorities is totally different. And it's like, um, a lot of time, yeah, like I say, the older guys, once you start growing hairs, people counting buildings and houses, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this world, this old man world, is buildings and houses, bro. Business is even better. But a lot of people ain't even in the business like that, because business is a little different and it's harder for most people to really gather in that world. People don't really talk about that. They look at it like, oh, these guys got these houses. Well, they was focused on houses. You was focused on pleasurable experiences, smoking blunts with chicks and drinking and having a good time, you know with your Dodge Challenger and all of this other stuff. It's like, yeah, I mean, guys did that already. I had a Mustang in my 20s. I mean, what I'm saying? I didn't did a lot of that shit already. I've been down that road. It's not like I'm trying to continuously. And there's some guys that are, it's a lot of Jim Jones dudes that still trying to hold on to a old dude still trying to hold on to being some, young dude, young hood dude. Like, he's still dressing like they on the block, like they a teenager on the block selling packs, and they, like, pushing 50 or already 50 plus years old with a bunch of gray hairs and gold chains and shit. And it's like, dude, go get you an image coach or some shit, and start wearing different clothes and looking your age and looking different. You walking around looking like an old dope dealer sugar daddy, and it's like, yeah, that shit look goofy. Start looking goofy after you get older, and then the young people start laughing and shit because they can see the shit. They see old niggas looking goofy. You the old dude in the club. That's that. Pretty soon, like, you just live life, and then you the old dude in the club. It's like, why, old dudes don't, they don't probably think about it like that, but who wants to be the old dude in the club? And that's the whole thing. Like, you get older, you're not trying to do all those things because, you've done it when you was younger. You know, I remember going to college frat parties in high school. I mean, I've already done a lot of things older that younger dudes is just now trying to do or enjoying. I've already done those things, and it's like, yeah, not really be focused on all those things and understanding that, yeah, women ain't really into all of that shit. You think they are, but they're into other stuff that have nothing to do with money like that. Like, I mean, they're into things that you probably it's just a different approach. I don't necessarily want to go into no long spiel about what women looking for and what they want, because the whole society is pretty much crumbling right now because a lot of imbalance in the household. The father's not in the household. you know um a lot of what goes on is just basically single mother communities and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it ain't really no game that you need to deal with all of that. That's dysfunction. What's the game to deal with dysfunction? Avoid dysfunction. I mean, what you know what I'm saying? Like, it's no game involved with that. The game is to avoid the dysfunction, not try to deal within the dysfunction. Try to basically uh try to find the best woman in the dysfunction. It's like, yeah, like I get that. Like it's kind of goofy trying to deal with all of that. Like you one man trying to deal within all of this dysfunction. And it's like, yeah, it I guess to a certain extent, I mean, you can do the best you can, but it's like, yeah, you got that side of it too. Like, how do you, throw a dart and find the best single mother? Like, I mean, what advice are you going to give some young guy that's coming out of high school or college? You know, what, throw a dart and find the best single mom? Good luck. That's not the best advice to give. Just, going to the forest of abyss of single mothers and find the best one. No, man. That shit, the young guys, they not going for that shit either, man. So the thing is that, it is a conundrum that I do understand is different, you know, than the 90s and 2000s, but um, it's pretty much a thing where it is a lot of different variables to consider that I'm not gonna say that is not difficult to consider because it wasn't that many damn single mothers like that in the 90s and the 2000s. It was some, but it was growing, but now this shit is just out of hand. Like this shit is crazy. And that's why a lot of dudes is just said, fuck it, man. You know, I'm just gonna try to just do the best I can, whatever that means. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you still gotta know kind of how to be a man no matter where you go. I mean, if you're the type of dude that is on some, like, I let women follow me type shit, or no, I follow women type shit, and you go to another country, you just fucking the whole game up. Like you just taking like what you learned in America, and you just taking it to another country, and basically confusing the women. Like they like, why is this dude washing dishes and shit? It's like you gotta be aware of that too. Like, the dysfunction that you kind of learn to deal with in America, you don't take that to another country because they start messing them up over there. So it's a lot of stuff, man. It's like, eating popcorn, man, watching America, and it's like, man, you trying to deal with America, yourself, and it's like, damn, a lot of this stuff is like a game of patience. It is a game of patience. It's not necessarily everything's gonna happen right away. If it does happen, if you can deal with it, that's good. But it's a lot of people, probably, if they are getting to some, sudden success, they have a hard time dealing with that. But it's a lot of times it is a game of patience. It's a game of, basically long term efforts. Um, I posted the video, the young light skinned chick, Natalie Economist. She's on Twitter, and basically what she said about doing weekly actions and stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of my sentiments exactly. Like, a lot of times you just have to just take things one day at a time. Like you gotta kind of hit the reset button yourself, and just your money is just all over the place, your finances is all over the place. You just kind of have to take things from a perspective of, I need to hit the reset button, and I have to start off with whatever I got to work with. Like, I one of the things that I'll say, definitely check me out on brogeniuses.com. I do consultations. If you are having like problems with trying to budget and trying to figure things out, I do give consultations. If you need the help, don't be shy. Reach out to me. It's rather you reach out to me than you continue to just financially suffer, and then you got to go live in a garage somewhere. A price of a freaking little small tank of gas to avoid you having to do some dumb shit, to make some money because you didn't have any good advice. It's just, I'd rather you reach out, even if you just comment it, got to, because a lot of, one of the things that I do notice about, and I've said this before, a lot of people are really really scared to reach out to people because they don't want to be embarrassed, or they just so shy. Like, I mean, it's like, come on, man. I mean, that's a lot of what people do too, because they need to go see a therapist. They need to go see the therapist or some type of person, because they just be solitary and don't want to talk to nobody. They just little rats in a cove, and they little cove, just being all by themselves, not wanting to reach out to nobody for help. Like, just is scared, just shuddering in their little cove. Like, I mean, you gotta come out of yourself and reach out for help, man. I mean, I had to do it. Everybody gotta reach out to somebody. A lot of times what people want to do is they just want to keep their stuff to themselves, and wonder why they're a wreck in life, because they've been keeping all of this stuff in, and they ain't letting nothing out, and they got terrible advisors. Their mom and their dad are their advisors, and they're terrible. And then by the time they look up, they older and wonder why their life is shit, because they live with they was listening to their mom or their dad's shit advice. So yeah, the thing is that a lot of times you have to figure out, okay, I need to just hit the reset button. I need to figure out, okay, I got to get this together just how it is. So one of the things that I say is, you know, as far as saving money, even if you're not making that much money, you need to still save money. Okay, if you're only making, you know, whatever you're making, a lot of times there's a lot of ways to make money now. Even if you're unemployed, you can still do things to make money. You could do Uber Eats, Uber, whatever, all of these little gig apps. The gig economy is like worth over, like, it's worth billions of dollars. I mean, you can even do trucking. You can have a CDL and still do gig work. Like, you can do gig work with your truck. Like, it's all kinds of ways to make money now. So a lot of times when you are self-employed, because you don't have no guaranteed salary, because it's based off of whatever money you're able to make or you want to make. So basically, you got to make a daily quota. When you're self-employed, you got to have a daily quota. Okay, and that daily quota, I would say, as a formula, should be twice your daily budget. Now, in order to have a budget, I have a budget on my site. It's a link under my description. It's like $2 less than the price of coffee to get this budget template. And basically, you want to, whatever that daily amount that you need, as far as you basically divide all of your bills, you basically add all of your bills and you divide them by 30. Okay. You add up whatever your amount of all of your bills are, your expenses for the month. Once you divide them by 30, it'll give you the amount that you need to have, and that will be your daily quota. So let's say you got a whole bunch of expenses. Let's just uh let's just open up a little calculator and just do some calculus. Okay. Let's see here. Let's just do this here. All right. So let me open up a calculator. All right. All right. So all right, hold on. Stop sharing. Let's just share just the calculator. This here. All right. Let's take let's say your monthly expenses is $2,500. So you divide that by 30 days, and you hit divide. So this is your daily quota, but you don't want to do this, okay? You don't want to just go by $83. You know why? Because okay, you got things that you got a lot of variables that'll blow this up because you got gas, you got, meals and stuff like that too. You got, the variable expenses. So you want to have a buffer. You want to have a cushion. So if you can, you basically want to times this times two and try to make like at least like let's round it off to 150 bucks. So your daily quota for your monthly expenses around $83, but you don't want to just make $83. You want to make a cushion. So your minimum should be about $150, which is almost double what $83 is. So if you make $150 a day, pretty much you got your expenses for the month. And you gotta be disciplined enough to. And then here's another good thing about having this cushion. Here's another good thing about having this cushion of 150 versus 83. So you're gonna need meals. You're gonna need to pay for meals, pay for gas. So you can deduct some of this from this, and hopefully you can make over $150 a day, right? So the thing is that for a fact, let's just say, you could at least try to deposit at least $100 a day into an account, and that account will be probably, I would say, a savings account. Okay, you're gonna put this $100 every day into this savings account. Okay, and that's for your expenses for the month. Okay, and whatever is left over will be in your checking account. So let's just say, hypothetically, for the day, you go 100, you make 150 bucks. So then you probably gonna spend about 30 of that, or maybe even 40. You spent, $40 out of that because you got gas, you got meals, maybe got to buy something, got to buy some oil for your car or something like that. So you basically got 110. You got $10 left. Okay, and that's some money. That's money that you could put away every single day. That's what's left over. You could, you know, put that away or whatever, or leave that in your checking account. And then the next day, I mean, this is hard. Like, I'm not gonna say this is not hard, because see, here's the thing. This is day one. Okay. If you do this for 30 days, you take 10 times, and you're not gonna spend $40 a day. Some days you might have 40. And this will kind of make you save more money, and not spend more. So you take 10 times 30, obviously you'll have 300 dollars over a month. But the thing is that you're not going to just have $10 every day. You're gonna vary from that depending on what your expenses are. You might be able to save, $30 instead of $10, right? So, and then you're gonna make more than 150 some days, probably, right? You got to be optimistic. You're gonna make over this $150 amount. So you might make $200 one day. Have some good days. You might make 250, or might make 300 or 200 or something like that. 175. And if you're making, all whatever you're making, you're just gonna put that 100 over, and then basically you'll have money left over. You'll have money left over, and you could put it in your checking every single day, and then you use that for basically kind of like whatever miscellaneous things that you need to buy, and just kind of have to be creative. You have to be creative. You have to look at it like, I gotta save every single month, every single day, every single week. This has to compound in order for this to work. And it takes discipline to do this. You know, you gotta have discipline in order to do this, but you gotta understand, it's kind of hard being self-employed. It's kind of hard being a businessman. You having a paycheck, they're basically doing what you would be. One of the things about being an employee is basically you're getting other business owners to do exactly what I'm showing you to do. They're doing it for you. They're already taking that $200 and they saving it every single day for you. So after about 2 weeks, they give you this lump sum that they've been saving for you because you've been doing some work for them. So it's like you thinking you're getting this big old lump sum, but you're really working off of credit. That's really what you're doing. You're working off of credit. So you do this every day, it'll start making sense after the months pass over. So you gotta, this is what I do. I do a couple things. One, I save, coins. I have, basically I save just like I did when I was a kid. I save my coins. Then I have a money book, like a money savings challenge book. I put money into that every, day I can. And then, thirdly, I just have, account where I save my money in my account. And I have different accounts that I, pretty much put money in, and whatnot as well. So, you do that. you'll probably be better off than a lot of other people, because a lot of times people don't really know how to survive when they're self-employed because they don't have a budget and they don't stick to it. So when you do that, you just pretty much you're committing like financial seppuku when you don't have no budget and you just freestyling. So you know those are the things that I'll say will help you, financially. A lot of times, a lot of these things, like I said before, are your mind and your body and your soul. If you don't have those things, kind of laid out and solid, you're gonna have problems either way, because a lot of this stuff, trying to be independent and all that type of stuff, that that is a cause for disaster, because you know you can't really look at it like you just trying to be this lone soldier on the plane, a lone warrior on the plane. You gotta have, people, in your battlefield with you. You trying to, no one king has took on an entire army and won. It just doesn't work that way. You gotta have people that, kind of are willing to help you and you're willing to help them. Like, you got to have some type of group that you guys help each other and work with each other. And some of those things can kind of be harnessed with business. If you have a business, you can hire people, it's like your paid mercenaries, and that will work on your behalf. If you pick the best people to work for you, and you pay them well, they will work hard for you, and kind of help you meet your goals. And you pay them, and they're getting the things that they want out of life and able to help their family and people that they care about. So it's a symbiotic relationship. So it's something that people do, in business. They hire people because they got the money to pay them, and next thing you know, their business is doing great because they got the right people, helping them out. So yeah, this is all I have for this morning. Hope you have a great morning. um and I'll probably be doing some more uploads. This month is you know pretty much a good month because it's a lot of positive things I think going my direction this month. So I'm this is like the month I was waiting for a long time. So I got some very optimistic things going on. So eventually I'll probably do another Kaizen video. So stay tuned for that.